In a moment the Korean public never expected, Cha Eun-woo returned to the limelight after a thrilling statement came out of his mouth during an internal military interview. The sentence was simple, but full of meaning, shook the entertainment industry, made fans transfixed, and made Moon Jae-young's name rise again to become trending on various platforms. With a steady voice but full of gentle vibrations that could only be heard if carefully observed, Cha Eun-woo said, "Moon Jae-young, thank you. You've come to my military camp. Nobody saw this coming. Not the staff, not the reporters, not even the division mates who had been living with him in the military routine." That sentence felt like something that should have been kept in one's most private space. Yet on that day, amidst the autumn breeze rushing past the training barracks, Cha Eun-woo let it out just like that. Honest, clean, and completely unfiltered. The public reaction exploded. Within minutes, the online community was filled with speculation. Did Moon Jae-young really visit Eun-woo at the military camp? When did this happen? Why did Eun-woo say that now? Have they been secretly close all this time? Or is it just a form of gratitude between two old friends? But the reality is much more emotional than mere speculation. An internal source, who did not wish to be named, revealed that Moon Jae-young's visit came on one of the toughest days for Eun-woo. Not because of the excruciating military schedule, not because of the grueling physical training, but because he faces an annual mental evaluation that is a scourge for many soldiers. That day, Eun-woo looked calmer from the outside, but a fellow barracks fellow said, "His eyes are holding something back. Nobody knows what." No one asked. Still, something seemed to hang over his shoulders until that afternoon, when an officer called his name and said that a guest had come especially for him. The rest of the soldiers initially thought it was just family or close relatives. But when a woman with long brown hair, wearing a cream autumn coat, and walking with an aura as soft as those seen in Korean dramas, the mood instantly changed. Some soldiers recognized the face in a second. "Moon, young?" whispered one of them. Eun-woo's reaction? Not many saw him directly as he walked quickly from the other side of the yard. But from a distance of several meters, the fellow who witnessed said that Eun-woo's expression changed like someone who had just found air in the middle of a crowded space. He didn't smile excessively. There was just something honest in his eyes, a warmth he rarely displayed during training. The two stood facing each other for a few seconds that felt long, as if time had stopped. Without big words, without dramatic hugs, only the gaze speaks more than anything else can say. Jae-young didn't come for the media spotlight. In fact, not a single camera recorded the moment. He came alone, quiet, calm, and just when Eun-woo needed him. Another source says that Jae-young brought something. Not expensive food, not branded goods, but something that made the soldiers speechless when they heard it. A handwritten letter. In the digital age, who writes letters anymore? But Moon Jae-young did. A neatly written letter, with letters that Eun-woo had known since they were both filming in their teens. He handed it over in the most gentle way. "I know you can't say much here, so read it later. It's not a big deal, but I hope it calms you down a little." If anyone thought it was just a simple form of attention, the truth is that it is much more than that. Because the night after the visit, Eun-woo, who usually goes to bed late because it is difficult to adapt to the military world, actually falls asleep the fastest. His barracks colleague said, "He slept with the most peaceful expression we've seen since he entered." The visit was not long, probably only about 15 minutes. No hugs, no visible touching, no made-up drama. But sometimes, it is precisely the quiet moments that are the most piercing. So when Eun-woo finally uttered the phrase in his official interview, "Moon Jae-young, thank you. You've come to my military camp," the public realized that the visit was no small thing. It wasn't just two former co-stars who met. It wasn't just old friends supporting each other. It was something that really meant a lot to Eun-woo, enough to make him mention Jae-young's name among the hundreds of things he could be grateful for during his military service. Comments on the online platform exploded. "Please don't tell me you fell in love secretly all this time. Moon Jae-young came to camp? It was no ordinary visit. Why is my heart pounding? This is more dramatic than their own drama. Even idols rarely mention someone's name directly." Wow. Some celebrity colleagues close to them also gave vague reactions, such as Lee Dong-min, who simply wrote, "I know something, but I won't tell you," with a laughing emoji. while staff who've worked with the two say they've always had a distinct connection. Not a cheap, made-up romance, but a closeness built from comfort, trust, and a sense of mutual understanding that one rarely has in the stressful arts industry. On several previous occasions, Eunwoo had indeed said that Ji-young was one of the most calming people in his life, but he never mentioned it in this thread. Never been so honest. It's never been this open. The public continues to discuss. Are they just friends? Is there anything more? Or is this just a sincere form of gratitude from a man who is going through a difficult period to someone who is present in his most needed moment? Clearly, Eunwoo's speech was not just words. It was a small snippet of a much bigger story. The story of two people who have known each other for years, who try to remain there for each other even though life forces them to walk different paths. And perhaps, even without explicit drama, the statement became one of the most beautiful moments in the entertainment industry this year. A man who is true to his feelings, thanks someone who secretly keeps his strength. The public waited for the continuation, waiting for whether there would be a response from Moon Jae-young, waiting for whether there would be a chance of them being seen together again. But even if there were none, the statement was enough to cause a Korean uproar, because sincerity needs no explanation. Cha Eun-woo ended the interview with a small smile, then looked away before adding in a quieter, yet clear voice, "I will never forget that visit. It gave me more power than he thought." And that's where the whole of Korea fell silent again. The continuation of the story after Cha Eun-woo's statement made many people wonder what really happened to Moon Jae-young after his name was mentioned directly. Although Jae-young has never openly discussed his personal life in public, this moment is definitely not something he can ignore. Korea begins to wait. What is the response from Moon Jae-young? Asterisk, but several days passed without a single response. No new posts on Instagram, no story updates, no photo editions, no interaction with fans. Everyone wondered if he had deliberately disappeared in surprise, or was just looking for the right time so that whatever he said did not trigger excessive speculation. One of the drama staffers who once worked with him said that Jae-young is the type who thinks things through carefully. He will not make comments just to follow the flow of news. Moon Jae-young never wanted to be an insensitive person, the staffer said. If something concerns the feelings of someone close to him, he will pause, think about the most sincere response and not hurt either side. On the other hand, Eunwoo didn't seem to know how Jae-young would react to his statement. He said the phrase "not for the sake of sensation." He just wanted to express his gratitude from the bottom of his heart. And sometimes, the most sincere things just come without any preparation. The soldiers nearby said that after the interview, Eunwoo was seen several times pensive outside the barracks, as if thinking about whether his words would cause misunderstanding, or actually make it difficult for Ji-young. "He's a very caring person," said one soldier. He was more worried about how Jae-young would be attacked or pressured by the public than thinking about himself. But the good news came quietly, without the spotlight of the cameras. A military staffer divulged that on the day the news started to explode, Eunwoo received a new letter, this time shorter, but clearly from the same person. The letter was not opened in front of anyone, but his barracks mate said that Eunwoo kept it in the inside pocket of his uniform like someone holding something very valuable.